Hello everyone, you're in my kitchen. You can see part of my microwave. I've made a couple of knitting podcasts so far, and I wanted to make them bi-weekly. That clearly didn't work out, but I want to change the format a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I love knitting podcasts, but they are turning a little boring for me. I want it to be more dynamic. I want to find kind of an in-between between a regular dynamic YouTube video and the static, long-form content of a podcast. I would love to explore doing my own thing, and I kind of want to try that out with this knitting podcast. So as you know, I only have like 5 of them up right now, but all of them is me sitting like a podcast and talking about my stuff, but that's become really boring for me to edit, just watching 40 minutes of me sitting. And I mean, I'm doing the same thing now, but I'm just standing in a different location. But I feel like I'm gonna do it differently. Instead of sitting down for 40-50 minutes at a time and talking about my knitwear, I'm just gonna hop around and talk about my knitting when I feel like it. When I'm like, oh, I just finished this hat and I feel excited talking about it, so I'm gonna do it now. Because I feel like when I pile everything I've done in a whole month, if I pile that up and talk about that in one video, then I don't feel excited about them anymore because some of the things have been finished for a month. But for example, right now, the thing I'm going to talk about, I just finished it and I'm writing a pattern for it and I'm excited for it, and the wool and the yarn means a lot to me. So I just feel like I want to talk about it now. But then if I feel like talking about something else tomorrow, I will do that. So that's what I kind of mean by a dynamic podcast, which I put in the title. I want to combine like different locations and different days, but still keep the video pretty unedited, if that makes sense. So instead of with a regular video cutting out all my pauses and my ums and my grammatical errors, I will keep those in like I would if I made a normal podcast, but I would edit it a little bit more and keep up the pace a little bit more, right? So what I'm saying is going to be unedited, but the places and the things and how I talk about things might be different. I'm not just going to sit here and be like, this is the yarn, blah, 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 blah. The first thing I have that I was actually excited about talking is this hat. I've made 2 variations of it, but I don't feel like showing the other one. It's on my Instagram, but I want to rework that one again. The brown one, which you can see on the screen, is the first one that I made, but I redid the top part, so I cut that off because I started top down, so I couldn't really restart the top. So I cut off the top part and I grafted it on there, but it's all crooked and ugly. But that one doesn't have a folded edge and it just has regular 2x2 rib, kind of like a 2004 like sports hat, whereas this one has a folded brim. But the thing is, I wanted to do 3 rows of sheep, but because of the double folded edge, it can only have 2, which is fine. I also, with the first hat, I made the mistake of only using 3 increase points. With this one has 4 increase points, and I think it looks really nice. The brim, I actually repurposed this yarn. I made mittens from this yarn, and I have been wearing them for a while. And so, as you can see, it's pretty dirty right here, and also my cast on is a bit uneven, but that's okay. But I think the sheep are just really fun and really cute, and so I'm writing a pattern for this with all of the instructions for it. And I'm writing a pattern for both versions at the same time, so you can try out both. They're mainly exactly the same. The only thing that changes is the ribbing at the bottom and the colors, obviously, but that's up to you. So the other one has 2x2 rib and only for about 2 centimeters, so that you can have 3 rows of sheep and just a little bit of ribbing, but still have like the same length or like the same size hat when you're wearing it. And yeah, the yarn that I'm using for this is Slovenian yarn. I think I've talked about this 100 times, but I didn't want to use that yarn for anything. I was just like, I want to use it for something special, but I only got 1 skein of each. And the white one is it's like an exfoliating sponge, and it really smells like a sheep with a little bit of bleach. But I got it in this mountain village, and I thought it was really cute. I mean, I got both of them in a mountain village. And the other one is actually Spanish yarn, but it's still special to me because I got it in Slovenia, and that was just like a really nice holiday that me and my boyfriend went on. And so I didn't feel like putting it in those mittens because it didn't feel special enough. And I also wanted to practice my color work skills, and so I think it's really cute. And I'm only showcasing you this one because I don't feel proud of that other one, and I want to remake it and make a nice one. So look out for a pattern for this one if you like it. I'm halfway through writing it right now, so it'll be somewhere up pretty soon. You guys, I'm sorry it's really loud, but I have all of my windows open right now, if you can see that. It's because I'm spray painting something and I probably just should have done that on the curbside, but I didn't. Anyway, first part of the dynamic knitting podcast, I'm gonna have to wait. I closed 2 out of 4 windows, okay? I'm gonna have to leave those open, otherwise I probably asphyxiate or choke or whatever, or my lungs shrivel up. First thing you can see, this is not finished. This is my very first attempt at trying to make a off-the-shoulder sweater. Now, it is too big, okay? You can see it's drooping and I don't really have the chest to keep this up. So what I think I'm gonna do is if you know what the October sweater looks like, it has this beautiful 2x2 wide color, or relatively wide. I think I'm gonna do that. And then, so a double folded collar like a normal sweater would, 2x2, and then weave an elastic thread through it so that it stays on my shoulders nicely. This yoke is 180 stitches, so I think I'm gonna have to decrease a couple of stitches when doing the ribbing, or just pick up a little less than that, because I don't want it to wobble, you know what I mean? When you have too many stitches, it doesn't lay nice and flat. But this yarn is probably the softest yarn I've ever worked with. I'm not a fan of the color. This yarn was gifted to me and I did choose it myself, but I did not think about, I loved all of the colors together, but I didn't think about wearing it as a piece of clothing, which it would eventually become. So it's just a bit too much for me. And I'm not sure yet whether I want to dye it or not, because it feels like such disrespect towards the company, towards Malabrigo Yarns, to go ahead and dye this like brown or whatever, because it's gonna have to be it's gonna have to be like really dark in order to cover all of this. So I don't know, but the thing about this project is that it's a test run and I didn't know what else to make with the yarn. And so my plan is to, in the end, eventually make a pattern for a sweater like this, but I already have a couple of adjustments in mind that I want to do. So the first is to not make it off the shoulder, but more like a really, really wide boat neck so that it rests like about here. And I want to do the folded ribbing that I was originally planning on doing, which kind of should resemble this picture by Gina Tricot. And I'm gonna make it on 5mm needles and with a lighter yarn, because this is a single strand yarn, and it's really, really heavy, but it's really soft. But I think I'm gonna switch it to drops air so it can be more airy. It's gonna be lighter so it doesn't fall down, because this is so heavy, it doesn't stay really nicely, if you know what I mean. So I want it to be airy and fluffy and not too heavy. And so I'm gonna make it on 5mm needles, so those are all the adjustments. Bigger needles, thicker yarn, fluffier yarn, lighter yarn, not off the shoulder, but like on the shoulder. So yeah, I finished the sleeves just right now when I got off the train. I went with like a little bit of a longer ribbing, which usually I don't do. This is 13 centimeters of rib. Usually I don't do it. I did not decrease any stitches. And I don't know, I don't think I've ever made a sweater with sleeves this narrow. So I might make them a little bit wider, but I'm not sure about that yet. The thing also with off the shoulder sweaters like this is that you cannot wear anything underneath. And I'm pretty unsure whether or not I really would wear that. So what I'm thinking is that on the shoulder sweater that I'm actually like aiming for, with that I can wear like a camisole underneath or something. But with this, pretty much nothing but a strapless top could go underneath this, and this sweater is too warm to like, I don't know, it's not a summer yarn, I would say. But yeah, that's what I have to say about this. Yeah, I'll see you the next time I feel like talking about a sweater.
It's crazy how like you do this to yourself, or like I do this to myself. Signing a deal with a publisher, because getting an agent is like crying my eyes out because of my dad. So I wasn't even able to. This is why I was telling you how I feel like my heart.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm talking rather quietly because my roommate is in the room next to me and she can probably hear everything I'm saying. I've had the stomach flu for a couple of days, and the first day was definitely the worst. It started Monday night. It's currently Thursday. I finished the sweater. That's all I wanted to show you. I'm still a little sick, so I got the stomach flu. I was really sick for one night and then a day because I was really dehydrated. And from this, maybe you don't want to know this, but from all the throwing up, I've had all of my blood vessels in my face bursted. And so now it's kind of going away already, but it looked like I had a black eye from how many blood vessels had bursted. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this. It's in order to make sure that the sweater would stay on my shoulders, as I said before, because I don't really have boobs to have them stay up. I decreased 20 stitches all around. So I picked up stitches along the edge and then I decreased about 20. And then I switched to 3mm needles instead of 4. All of my other ribbing I did on the same needles on 4mm. But for these I switched to 3mm. And now it might actually be a little too tight. But I don't mind because I feel like I actually like this kind of boat neck better than the off the shoulder look, and it's also more comfortable. So I think I'm gonna keep it like this. I've already ordered new yarn for a second version and I can actually show you that now, but I'm gonna choose wisely and decide to do that tomorrow when I have more time and the weather is nicer and maybe I look a little bit nicer. But yeah, I like it. It's a little short. I am gonna block it because the sleeves are not as long as I want them to be, but all of my blocking stuff is at my apartment, and currently a friend is staying there for a couple of days because of work, and so I can't access any of that stuff right now. I hope I recover fully because I have to work on Saturday, and currently I'm working on my Erasmus exchange still, and it's really stressing me out because I'm sick and I have to drive the car a lot because I have my driving exam in a month, and then this needs to be done in 15 days, which is really scary. So I don't have that much knitting stuff going on, but I do want to show you one little thing. I yesterday, because I was feeling a little sad, I casted something on. This is going to be the zipper sweater, just the regular one by Petite Knit. I was thinking about buying the zipper sweater light, but and then I remembered that I already had the normal pattern, so I'm just going to continue with this one. And so I'm using yarn that I got from Kremke Soul Wool as a gift to try out the Merry Merino, and I chose these two colors. The colors don't match that well, but I've got this kind of cool chocolate brown and then this really dark, warmer silk mohair. And I mean, you can see that they're not that close together. Like, they're not a close color match, but I hope it's going to turn out nice because I don't want it to look like the Melange sweater by Petite Knit. I really don't like that mix of yarns together. So I hope that from kind of a distance, it will still look like it's just a nice blend of this darker and a little bit lighter brown. And normally with her zipper sweater light, she changed the ribbing to a regular 1x1 rib, but for the normal zipper sweater on the 5mm needles, she still has the twisted rib. And I've used the twisted rib for my sweater number 26 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, which I have yet to show, I think. But I am in the end not really a fan of twisted rib, so I'm deciding to just use the regular 1x1 rib for the zipper sweater, just because I like that better. And I also tried out a new technique for casting on. I used the crochet cast on, which was actually really fun to do, and it went by really fast, and I felt like, I don't know why I wouldn't always do it, because it just, I don't know why, it's nice and stretchy, and it's easier to do that first row of knitting, because when you do a long tail cast on, it gets pretty tricky, and it just looks really nice. Too bad you won't see anything of it because you have to knit 22 centimeters of rib and then fold it in half. I've never done anything with a zipper in a sweater, so that's going to be interesting. But I forgot that I have a music class tonight, my sheet music, like music reading class tonight, so I'm gonna have to hurry up with this stuff. Yeah. Okay, see you the next time.
Hi guys. Hello. It is currently midnight, and ooh, I have a side part. I didn't realize that was going on. I'm gonna go to sleep, guys. I went to work today, so I'm better. I'm not sick anymore, which is great. I was actually just sick for like the night it happened and then the day afterwards. And then I just spent the next days recovering because I was so dehydrated and I had nothing left in my bowels. I'm sorry. So I spent all of those days just recovering, basically. Anyway, if you want to see, I don't know if I've talked about it yet, and I'm sorry that I'm choosing to do this now, but I feel like I cannot go to sleep if I do not talk about it now, right? There's not much to see yet, so this is just what you're gonna get. I didn't show this in the previous clip, and I said I was gonna talk about it at a different time. I made that sweater, right, that I showed you, the colorful one boat neck thing. Took some pictures of it. They look lovely. I posted them on Instagram. And as soon as I finished that one, or before finishing that one, I decided I wanted to make a lighter version that wouldn't be as heavy and that I would actually be able to give it that very wide neck, like almost a cowl neck, if not an off the shoulder. But I'm actually changing my mind that instead of an off the shoulder, now that this pink version kind of has this more boat neck vibe, I feel like that I could go for like a cowl. You know what I mean? So it could be off the shoulder, but it could also stand on my shoulders. And I think I have absolutely no idea how to pronounce this lovely Irish designer's name. I think she's Irish. Don't want to assume that, but I think she is. And I saw this picture. It said this sweater is literally reversible. It is the same top down, bottom up. It's the bottom ribbing you see could also be the cowl on the top. And I just really like that idea. So I think I might do something like that because that could be really interesting. So far I haven't got anything besides the serve, the neckline, and the yoke. And I mean, it's definitely, the neck is definitely more, it is late, you guys, remember. It's definitely wider than a normal neckline, but it's not as wide as I did with the other one. The other one is like 180 stitches because I cast on where you would basically split for the arms, which was too low. And so for this one, I'm gonna go like starting at like where your collarbone ends, kind of. My voice sounds really low, but it's because I'm like, my neck is folded in a weird position. The color I went for, it's actually pretty accurate on camera. It's this, I think it's called Pistachio Ice on the website. This is Drops Air, and I've been really attracted to this color for a long time, but I've been debating on buying it because I didn't have a project for it. Now I do have a project for it, but I was still thinking like, do I love this color on its own, or is it really something that I would use for a garment? Because sometimes that's the problem with the previous sweater as well. I really like the colors on their own, but not so much as a whole sweater. So I have this, and I think I'm gonna keep it because my hair is brown now. If my hair was still if my hair was still blonde, I wouldn't as much like it, but now that it's brown, I think this brown and this pistachio go well together. So all I've done is I cast it on the Drops Air on 5mm needles. I had only used Drops Air before once, making the weekend sweater for my cousin. And I used 5.5mm for that one, which was a little too big, but I'm actually really liking the 5mm for these. I'm just doing a basic 2-stitch raglan. And then a thing that I'm also thinking about is that first I wanted to do the cowl and all the ribbing in 2x2, but I'm kind of starting to change my mind, and I'm not sure if I want to try this for all the ribbing or just for the neck. But I've never done broken rib before, and I was scrolling through Petite Knit's website, as I do once every like 2-3 weeks, right? And I bumped into the Friday tee, which still I think is a little too old for me. It's definitely like a mom garment, but I still really love it. So I might actually make it someday, but maybe just with different colors. And that is broken rib. And so I just really loved it. I'd never thought about broken rib, but I really loved it. And so I'm thinking about doing the cowl in broken rib on 4mm, because I think Drops Air is rather chunky, and I'm not a big fan of really chunky knitwear. Like 5mm, 5.5 is like the biggest I'll go. Although working on smaller needles is an absolute pain in the ass. For my own designs, I like going for 5mm. Those are like good for me. But because I feel like Drops Air makes your garment kind of look one-dimensional in a way, or I don't know. Or maybe because I'm a very beginner designer, I don't add short rows and stuff yet to my designs, because I feel like, I mean, I've only got one sweater pattern out, so that's the only thing where I could have short rows really. But I don't do short rows yet, because I'm a beginner designer and I want to make it possible for me to publish some stuff, right? Eventually I'll hopefully be able to do so, but for now I have regular, like pretty much beginner friendly patterns, I would say, with some color work or whatever. And so because this one is going to be, again, pretty simple in construction, I think, if I ever make a pattern of it, I did want to add something elegant to come back to why I was talking about that broken rib. I feel like I do want to include something that makes it a little bit more special. And I was thinking that because Drops Air makes everything look a little bit one-dimensional, instead of doing a 2x2 rib, I might do that broken rib for the cowl, because I think that could be really cute. And then I don't know if I should do it for the bottoms of the sleeve and the sweater themselves, because that might be too much. And if I don't, I'm gonna do a 1x1 rib instead of a 2x2 rib. And I think that could be really cute. Also, the hat that I showed in the beginning with the sheep, I'm gonna make one for my mom because she was really a fan of them. And so I think I have enough wool left for another one, for a third one. And I think my mom is a good person to give my beloved wool hat to, right? So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Very glad that I'm feeling better. I actually went to work today. Work ended at 8 p.m. and then I just basically hung around my house doing nothing. Tomorrow I have to continue. No, tomorrow I have a brunch with my entire family, which is really fun. But yeah. And I don't know how I feel about this side part. Anyway, I have to go to the bathroom because I've been talking so long. And then I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, you guys, I'm going to the gym, but I wanted to show you this because I told you yesterday evening that I was going to show you. Let me turn around my camera. I went to Utrecht in the Netherlands with my boyfriend for my birthday and for Valentine's Day and whatever. And we went into this thrift store and my boyfriend also got a sweater, but it's got a couple of holes in it. So we haggled the price a little bit and I'm gonna fix it for him. And I found this, I'm 99.9% sure that's a handmade sweater, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And I kind of want to recreate it in different colors because it is a little chunky. Okay, I should just show you before I give the explanation. So this is the sweater and it's handmade. The button band is crocheted. There are no buttonholes, which is kind of strange, but I think I'm gonna leave it like this because I just like it as this kind of cardigan jacket. I would say this is like a 6mm. It's pretty chunky and pretty, it's not very soft, but it's gonna be super warm. And because it is so chunky, you can clearly see where the person increased all of their stitches. And so I feel like they worked from the bottom up, which is, no, they can't, no, it's not possible. This is worked bottom down, but her increases kind of look like decreases. Anyway, I definitely want to recreate this in a different color, and I don't know if it's possible, but it would be so cool if I could make a pattern out of this, but it would feel kind of wrong because then I couldn't credit the person who made this, and I have also no idea how old the sweater is, so what if it's like from somebody who's still alive? Then I'm just out here copying their whole design, so I have no idea how I'm going to track that, but I'm just
waiting to get back to my apartment for when uni starts, because I have all of my wool wash in like my drying rack over there at my apartment, and then I can wash it and then I can dry it and then I can wear it. I can show you the sweater that my boyfriend got. This one is a machine knit sweater, but it had a couple of holes underneath the arms, and the sleeves are also too long. And normally if it was a hand knit sweater, I could have just unraveled it and then knit on a new part, but because this is machine knit, it's going to be a lot harder because the seams are sewn together. So I don't really know what to do yet. Yeah, so there's a pretty big hole over here, but I feel like I can fix that pretty much. The reason why I figured it was machine knit is because over here with the stranded color work, you can see this like little bit of a darker shade peek through, and that's because I don't know exactly how this works, but you can definitely see the difference between this and the inside of this one, which is stranded color work, whereas this is more of a machine thing. But I think it's still 100% wool, which is really cool. But I'm going to the gym now, and then hopefully I will be able to finish my application for Erasmus today. My hair is looking really soft. I'm using this new shampoo that I got in Greece, but I only started using it now. It's by Apivita, and it's the moisturizing shampoo. My god, it makes my hair look like I have a blowout just naturally, and I love it. I'm going to the gym now. Bye. I am so freaking tired, and I have no idea if you can see me or not. It's currently 12 a.m. and I've permitted myself to stay up this late because I don't have work tomorrow or the day after that, which is great because I've been working for the past 2 days, and it's a retail job. It's fine, but you do like more than 10K steps a day, so you get like pretty exhausted. So I wanted to go to bed, but I wanted to split the body of this sweater first before I went to bed, and so I did that. Here you can see better that it truly does have a wider neck. It doesn't have a super oversized fit. I think it's gonna have a little bit of ease. I don't think I'm gonna decrease the sleeves all that much. Currently I have about 60 stitches on my needles, which is, I don't know, I think that's like something Petite Knit usually goes for with her 5mm. I just kind of used the zipper sweater kind of as a reference because I do quite like the fit of that. The body is more narrow than that though. The body is going to be more like a shirt, which I don't mind that much, but you know, it's all a learning curve. The color is growing on me though. I mean, I love the color, but now that I'm actually seeing is at a garment, I'm like not doubting anymore that I'm gonna wear it. One thing I'm not sure about yet is if I should have added German short rows or not in the back, because I do know how to do German short rows with just like a drop shoulder sweater, but I don't really know yet how to properly do that with raglan. I mean, I guess it's the same, but I eventually want to make this into a pattern, and I shouldn't get too ambitious with my patterns. But yeah, I'm hopeful that this is a pattern that will be published by spring, because I have the Sean sweater, which is that beige cabled sweater that I have in Drops Nepal. Okay, that turned into like a really long rant, and all I wanted to do was to show you this. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know, it looks a little small, not as oversized as I wanted it to. But I'm not going back now. Okay, my vocal fry is really showing you how tired I am. Bye, good night. Okay, you guys, I'm really sorry that I'm using my front camera, but I also need to know what I look like. Here's the thing about me, I never try on my knitwear while I'm knitting it, okay? That's just not a thing that I do. But I thought I would do it now because, as I said in the previous clip, I was kind of unsure if I thought the sweater had enough ease. And I'm not gonna lie, it is a little more tight than I wanted it to be. It's more like
but I don't know if I can tell accurately. Here, by the way, okay, wait, I'm gonna finish my first thought, but it's gonna be more like a t-shirt fit, which is fine. But then I started thinking, should I like knit down up to here and then have like really long ribbing that is like slightly tighter so that I decrease like a couple of stitches so that the ribbing is kind of cinched in, you know? Or should I just let it go down like every other normal t-shirt / sweater? I don't know. I think that could be like a cool contrast of like having the wide neckline with a thicker collar and then having a slightly snatched slimmer waist. Also, I like the width of the neckline a lot. I was kind of aiming for something like this, but I think this is fine too. So I think I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with it, with the ribbing. I think it could be cute if it stands up, or it could be cute like in the pictures of the Irish designer that I showed, or it could be cute if it just lays down. I don't know yet. We're gonna figure that out. Second thought was, look at the back. You see how that rolls up, like it seems to be shorter than the front? Well, it isn't, but that is why you add, like, I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure why you add German short rows, is you add a couple of rows only on the back so that when you wear it, the back doesn't curl up. And granted, by the time that you've reached the bottom of your sweater, it's not that noticeable, but that is like the reason why, that was a little burp, more experienced designers add short rows to their designs. And as I don't know if I cut that out or if I said it, but that's why I do not add German short rows to my patterns yet, because I don't trust myself with grading different sizes with German short rows yet. So you can consider my patterns as like really beginner friendly because I don't use German short rows, because I know that's something that people are really scared of. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. It is really short and really cute. I kind of want to make like a little baby tee now that I'm wearing it like this. I don't know. I'm gonna do some yoga now because I'm really tired and my legs are really sore. Bye. Okay, I think I'm gonna put this as the little last segment of this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it so far. I like editing this more, and I just find more energy in it when I can just like talk about stuff at different points in time. I brought with me from my mom's place some of the yarn that I received these past 2 months. I don't receive yarn all that often, but I was lucky enough to receive yarn from Kremke Solwool. I've talked about it a couple of times, and I just brought one skein or ball of each of the yarns that I still have left, so I can show them to you now, and I think that's kind of a nice closing point for this episode. Also, how do you guys feel about this thing? I tried to create as much light as I could in the room. It's really rainy today, so this is all I could do. This was for free on the street. It's usually where they wind up electrical cables from like a, I don't know, construction site. And I spray painted it yellow, and I think it looks really cute. First things first, I didn't know until yesterday that with the yarn they gifted me, they gave me a whole pattern for socks, which if I had found that earlier, I didn't have to buy the Sunday socks by Petite Knit. Because, okay, let's start with that first. Talking about the socks, lovely pattern, got it for free. I don't know if this pattern is also free on the website, but they're called the Easy Socks from Kremke Solwool. So talking about socks, I've talked about this before, I think in a podcast maybe, but in the previous one, that I got the Edelweiss alpaca 6-strand yarn, and I got them in these 2 colors. I don't know if the name is on the thing. No, they are colors 04 and color 06. I think Farbe in German means color. So I got these. These are super soft. They are made of, let me see, 65% wool, 25% polyamide, and 10% alpaca. They are super soft, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but they have
these little white fluffy hairs coming off of it, which I don't mind at all. I'm not going to go too much in depth into why I chose these colors, but basically my mom used to have, or still has, these socks that she got in England when she was studying there, when she was an au pair, and I didn't know. I've been stealing those socks for a long time, and I didn't know those socks were already so old, so I felt kind of bad because I was starting to wear them out. And so I decided that I would make my own, and I have made one of each. So the first variation of the socks, let me take them off, were light purple with a dark purple brim, and then the other ones were the opposite, right? I freehanded these on 3.5 millimeters, and they're a little too loose, and also I knitted them flat because I didn't have double pointed needles yet, and I didn't want to use the magic loop method, so this is where I sewed them shut, and you can only really see it when I wear them. And then the other one that I made are the Sunday socks by Petite Knit. These fit a lot better, but they are a little, the needles might be a little bit too big. But looking at these, they kind of have a similar construction to the ones by Petite Knit, but they are made on 3.5 millimeter needles. So I told myself that I was going to make exact replicas of these. So I think I'm still going to make the second one of the light purple one with the 4 millimeter needles, and that I'm going to make a second one of this one on 3.5, but I'm going to be following this pattern because I think that'll be nicer. And I used less than one skein of each to make one of the socks, so it's going to work out perfectly, and I might even have some scraps left. So I've been really enjoying them. Because they're socks, you know, you're wearing them all the time. So the heels have already felted a little bit, and I've only worn them twice. I also haven't woven in the ends yet, but I mean. Then I've shown this before in the video, but now I can discuss them properly. This is the Crème Cusseau Wool Baby Silk Lace Solid in the color 2011. And this is the Crème Cusseau Wool Mary Merino 110 in the color 06. I said before that this is like a cool brown tone, and this is a warmer but really dark brown. These were the closest color match I could find, and it's pretty visible when you're knitting with it that they are two completely different colors, but I don't really mind that much. This is a really soft silk. It's not scratchy at all, because usually I don't like long hair mohair or long hair, like, you know, lace, but because it's so soft, it's not gonna bother me as much, I think. And then this one, I've worked with this bond before. I made my sweater number 26, which I actually wanted to show you in this podcast, but I completely forgot about it, so I'll just include a photo here. But I actually have a vlog up where I made that sweater, so I'll just like link that one up below, or so you can like go and watch it. That one is also made with the Mary Merino 110, which is a really it's bouncy. I don't know if you can describe a yarn as bouncy, but it's bouncy. I was a little scared to block it because when you knit it, it looks, for me, it looked like it was very tight, but then when I blocked the sleeves, it actually stretched out a lot. So that's something you have to watch out for. I feel like it doesn't pill very easily, and it's super soft, so definitely recommend. It's 100% merino. And then from that same line, I also received the Mary Merino 70. So they go from, I think, 140, and then you have 110 or I don't know what the thinnest one is, but this is the thickest. This is designed for 5 to 6 millimeter needles, and I got color number 25 and color 1. So this is just like a natural white, and this is a blue. This is kind of more of a greenish blue if you see it in real life, and the reason why I chose this one is because I didn't want to choose the exact same blue as I had used for my sweater number 26, but I'm kind of regretting that now, and I think a lighter blue might have been nicer. So I think, but I'm actually not sure that I have enough left over of that blue to use for what I'm going to make with the white, so instead of this one. I only got one skein of this one. I'm going to make a sweater with this, my own design, but that's going to be for next winter probably, because I'm trying to work on spring designs and summer designs right now, because I want to design more of my own stuff this year, and for that reason when you design something, you kind of have to think, okay, it's winter currently, so I have to be working on my spring and my summer stuff. So this is probably going to come out next winter, but I want to make a really oversized white sweater with a blue pattern on it, and I don't want to spoil yet what the pattern is going to be, but I personally just think a cooler toned blue and a little lighter is going to look a lot nicer with it. And I think because the pattern is not going to take up that much of the sweater, I might just have enough leftovers from that different one. And those are all of the yarns that I have. The other ones that I received with the box, I used up for my sweater number 26. So if you want more details about that one, you can go watch the video. So I think that's everything I have. In my previous podcast, I talked about when I was knitting a neck warmer in white drops air, but I haven't done anything with that. It's been here while I was doing my exams, or studying for my exams, so I haven't done anything with it. So I'm going to end the video here. In about an hour, I have my very last driving lesson before my exam on March 1st, which is so exciting but scary. I never really wanted to get my driver's license, but now I'm kind of invested in it, so now I do care. Today's Valentine's Day, by the way, so my boyfriend and I, we got lunch, and yesterday we went to the movies. We wanted to go to the movies not because there was a good movie or anything we wanted to watch, but we went to watch Mean Girls. Don't recommend it. Don't do it, okay? The original one is much better, but we wanted to just go to the movies for the vibes. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know how you feel about this format of a podcast, because I think I still talk about projects the same way that I would if I was just sitting and talking like this. But personally for me, it's just more energizing to talk about it when I feel like it, and you know, I don't think it matters that much that I change locations, because what I'm saying is still what I want to say, and I just feel like I'm more invested, and the things that I'm saying about it is a lot more passionate in a way, because I am talking about it in that moment when I'm working on it, right? So let me know. But my classes started again, so I'm done with my exams, so now I'll have more time to knit and work on stuff, so that's really exciting, and I hope you'll follow me along. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, my Instagram, I don't have TikTok anymore. I'm sorry guys, I posted there for the last time, and I just want to take a break because I've been on my phone too much. So you can follow me on Instagram, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can buy my patterns on Ravelry or on my website. My website actually is just for show, because when you click to buy a pattern, you get redirected to Ravelry, but I just like having a website. So if you want to buy any of my patterns, you can go to the description. And also, I still have a code running for you guys if you want to get any of the Hey Happiness jewelry that I talked about in the previous video. I got this snake bracelet from them, and I also got gold paperclip earrings that I'm currently not wearing, but you can get a 10% discount if you click on the links in the description for the jewelry that I got, or just the website in general. So go do that, I would say, okay? So I'll see you in the next video, and for now, bye bye.